You get a receipt, an email, an invoice, a photo of a physical receipt. You forward it to one email address, and that's it. Relay picks it up. AI extracts the details, compresses the image, and drops a structured record into Airtable or whatever other database you want to use. We're building a fully automated expense pipeline in Relay. It works for personal use, like tracking home expenses and subscriptions, or for business teams processing invoices. If you don't have a Relay account already, you can get started for free using the link in the description below. I'm Zach from InterDev Solutions. Our channel shows you how to streamline operations with automation and AI. If you need direct help, you can visit our website, interdevsolutions.com. Once you've created your new Relay account or logged into your existing one, the fastest way to build this is to let Relay's AI assistant do most of it for us. Go ahead and create a new agent. You can also just create a workflow that's not assigned to an agent. But what we're going to do in this video is create a new agent. I already have one here, so I'm going to select it. If you don't, you can just select create new agent. Basically, all an agent is a folder and a way to categorize your types or different types of workflows. I've got an accounting one here that I am going to start fresh in, and this is where we are going to build this specific workflow. There is a Relay assistant that opens in the sidebar, but when you create a new agent, you can also interact with that agent from here. I'll paste in the prompt that describes the full pipeline, a mailhook trigger, an AI extraction step, a loop that compresses the image attachments, and then it will create a new record in Airtable. Really quickly, in Airtable, I have just a simple table setup that just has the expense name, date, amount, category, notes, the attachment field, so the receipt, I have status and source as well. You can set this up however you want. If you have own database somewhere else that you want to interact with, you'll have to set up this prompt and set up this workflow to fit that more specifically. But at a high level, this gives us most of the important data that we want to extract from a given invoice. So I'm going to go ahead, paste in the prompt here. It's just going to work through each of those steps. And I'm just going to click this build it for me. When I click build it for me, it opens up the assistant on the left side, has the prompt pasted in already for me. And just really quickly to touch on the attachment piece, the reason I want to compress that is quite often is, let's say I get a physical receipt, whether that's for personal use or for business. I take a picture with my phone. Usually the settings on your phone are set to a higher resolution. It'll be 2, 3, 4, 5 megabytes, and it can be compressed down to a much smaller size than that. It does not need to be that full resolution for a receipt. Watch what happens when I run it. I'll hit run. It's going to start working through the process. The assistant is going to read through the prompt. It's going to start dropping in nodes onto the canvas, the mailhook, AI step, loop, condition, and compression. And then it's going to add that record to Airtable. It's going to ask me some questions. And the first question is, what table or what database do you want me to save the record to? I is already in Airtable, so it's in my expense tracking dash base, and then it's within the expenses table. I've searched out the expense tracking dash demo base. Now I can select the table. I can hit submit, and now it's going to continue on. It will decide if it needs to ask me more clarification questions or if it can start building out this entire workflow. As it works through building out this workflow for us, something I want to note about the trigger is we're using a mailhook. This is something where anyone within our organization, or if it's for personal use, you can set it up for anyone that lives in the household that needs to forward receipts or invoices to this expense tracking agent. Basically, it gives you a unique email address that you can just forward these receipts to, whether it exists in the body of the email or as an attachment, or you take a picture and send the email to this agent. It will extract it. But there can be different triggers. You can set up a folder, whether that's in Google Drive or OneDrive, something like that. When a new attachment gets added to that folder, it will trigger this automation to run. You could set it up to watch a specific label within your email inbox or folder within your email inbox, and it will trigger it to run through this workflow. Okay, the agent has finished building out our workflow. And in a couple of minutes here, we are going to test this. But first, I want to go through each step and just review it and verify that it is set up in the way that I want. What's really cool about this is Relay does a much better and faster job scaffolding this for us, getting it set up, but it's still important for us as the humans, as the people that understand these workflows to review it and work through any of the issues or bugs that may occur. Now for the AI step, this is where the structured data comes from. Relay has a built-in AI step, and you can choose your different models. And within the plan, it also provides you AI credits. You can choose to let it run off of the AI credits provided by Relay, or you can connect your own API key. For this workflow, I'm going to use Relay's credits that are provided in my plan, and I'm going to use Gemini. It's a cost-effective model that seems to do a pretty good job. If I click into this extract expense details, we can see that Relay automatically added the model that requires an API key. But because I have credits provided, I can come up in here. I'm already on the Google Gemini model, and I can select this Gemini 3 Flash. This is using the AI credits provided. Down here uses the API key. So I can go ahead, select use this model, and now we can see that it's using the AI credits. Up here, it also wrote the prompt for us that this model is going to use to extract the details from the provided receipt. And then over here on the right side, it's also set up our structured data. Basically, it's got the expense name here for us. It has the date, has the amount, the category, and notes. If we jump into Airtable real quick, looks like for the most part, that is what we are looking for. Those are all of the fields that we want the AI model to extract and put into a structured format. And we can see that it's requested it to do that. It's got the email subject that it provides it from, which probably isn't important. I can get rid of that. The email body it provides, and it also has the AI has access to the attachments as well, which is important. And that's also set up a code sandbox here. I don't know that would necessarily be required, but we'll just leave it for now. I go ahead, hit done, and we can go on to the next step. After the AI step, a loop iterates over the attachments array. Inside the loop, there's a condition that checks the file type. And if it's a JPEG or PNG, basically an image file, it's going to run a compression. And if it's a PDF or a doc, we'll just skip it and pass it through as is. This compression step is built into Relay. And you can see here, if it's an image, we can go to this optimize image step. Like I said, built into Relay, we pass the attachments, we can select the optimization, and we can change the file name if we want. Move on to the combine attachments. We're going to combine all of the attachments, and then we will add that into the expense record. This is the add expense record that will log it back in Airtable, and we will add the expense name that it was extracted, the date that was extracted, amount, category, and notes that were all extracted. The status, will set it to submitted. The source, that's coming from the email that sent it to this mailhook. And then we're also adding the attachments to the receipts or the attachments field within Airtable. So that also looks like it was set up correctly. Now, something else that we can do here before anything goes into Airtable, a good idea would be to add a human review step. So the reviewer sees the AI extracted fields and can approve, reject, or edit before the record is actually committed. And for a business, this enforces a review policy and catches errors or unusual receipt formats that just didn't work for some reason. For personal use, it's more optional, but for business use, it's very important. And you can even take it a step further and add additional conditional logic that this review step is only required over a certain amount. If the value is over $100 or over $1,000, you could add in that type of conditional logic. And you can go ahead and do that by asking the AI agent to do it, or we can do it manually. And in this case, I'm actually going to do it manually. In between the loop and the combine attachments, we see this blue plus icon. I will select it. I'll just type in human. And then we have a couple options for the review step. So we can just request approval, or we can send an input form over email. We could also do this over Slack if you wanted. In this case, I'm not even going to worry about allowing the end user to edit the input. We're just going to add in an approval step. So if it looks good to them, good to go, we'll add and log that to the Airtable database. Or if it doesn't look good, we'll reject it and it can go back and be notify somebody that is responsible for looking after this information. After I've selected that review step, I need to choose who we're sending the email to. I'll just select myself. We can add a message and some instructions. We can put in the data requested here, either approve or reject. And then that also takes us into two different paths, or a path step where if we approve it, we'll log it. If it's rejected, then it will re-notify whoever's responsible for making updates or editing this step. And even what we could do is log it and add the record to Airtable, but we're also going to notify that the person needs to review it because something is wrong. That's just really high level how that human in the loop step works. I'm going to delete this and just carry on for now. I'm not going to worry about getting into the fine details of that functionality. Okay, now that we've went through all of these steps, it looks like it's pretty solid and we can fire off a real email now and watch it run. To test this, let's select the trigger at the top. We can see that we have an email address. I'm going to copy that. That's where we need to send our invoices or receipts. Basically, we need to send the email to this email address. And we actually have an option here to allow emails from any sender or anyone in my workspace or specific senders, which is nice to be able to restrict who can access that mailhook. But for this case, I'm just going to allow any sender. I'm going to turn on the trigger, go over into my email. I've pasted in the email address, create a subject that's just going to be called receipt. Doesn't matter all that much. And if we want, we can add some text to the body as well. Really what we're trying to simulate here is if we receive an email, we're just going to forward it to this email address. We don't really have to do any work. In this case, it's an attachment. It's not included in the body. And I am just going to remove the signature as the AI model does not need to process that. So I'm just going to hit send and we will watch it run back in Relay. You can see each step completing in Relay and it happens quite quickly. The mailhook trigger happened. Then it got passed to Gemini, the AI model that's going to extract the details from the receipt. It's going through our logic here. It realized it's an image, so we can just skip this and carry on, combine attachments if needed, and then we are going to add that expense record to Airtable. Now, if I jump into Airtable, we can see there's a new record here. It shows us the expense name, the date, the amount, category, adds in a note, and it also added in the receipt here as well. If I open it up, you can see this is the receipt that I sent to the mailhook. Also added the source where it came from and the status as submitted. And if you wanted, there's a few ways to extend this. You could add in duplicate detection and add a step that searches Airtable before creating a record. And that way it can identify if this record or if this expense already exists within Airtable. And another option is if you wanted to add in multi-currency normalization. If you get invoices that come in from different currencies, you could also add a step that extracts the amount and identifies the currency that it's in and looks up the exchange rate and then adds that record to Airtable. There's a lot of different options and flexibility here. And if you want, receipts could be organized in Google Drive and it can drop in that compressed attachment into a folder sorted by month or vendor or whatever you wanted right after that loop within Relay. This workflow runs off a mailhook, but the AI extraction Airtable steps work with any trigger. As I mentioned from the start, if you're routing from a Gmail label or a shared drive folder or even a Slack message, the middle step stays the same, but you can swap out the trigger and you're done. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tutorials in the future.